Today, we decided to take a walk. This would not be a typical morning walk. We carefully negotiated the traffic, and we began our journey. I felt the brisk, cold wind on my face. I thought, it'll get warmer. Our small caravan of ordinary young men and women woke up to an extraordinary day. As I turned to see Carmen running to gain some insight into her oral presentation that was forthcoming, I saw the lack of confidence. She would be fine. Deep down, she knew she would be fine. 2 by 2, 3 by 3, we welcomed the sounds awakening the city as street workers shoveled and created a special rhythm that rang out through the city. Approaching the Mill Street City Court, we gathered to reflect upon the importance of understanding why justice must create a balance for each and every one of us. This valued dialogue allowed our young people to walk away with inspired insight as we moved to Ryan Street. The Mullers Building, a downtown Lake Charles historical landmark, a staple if you will, surviving over 100 years in business. The stories that this building contains. Oh wow, if those walls could speak. The Mullers Building stopping time as one reflects.
Come on. All right, come on, y'all.
Yeah, don't start recording me now. Y'all gonna make me mad.
Come far enough to where you can hear Carmen. She's going to speak loud enough where everybody's going to hear. She's going to project and tell you about the Mullers Building and the renovations that took place.
I can read that?
Yeah.
Okay. The Mullers Building, located at 625 Ryan Street. This used to be a department store. It first opened in 1910 at Muller's Department Store. At one time, this was the biggest department store from New Orleans all the way to Houston, Texas. The store was surrounded by women that was jewelry, after the Civil War. Jewelry, large terminals, and more. And then decided to open the store. It was a time when women couldn't even vote. This structure was the largest business in Lake Charles and contained the first commercial elevator. Mullers was open for 130 years. The renovation of this building was transformed Mullers into retail offices and residential use.
Walking through the doors, our young people are inspired as we gaze up to see a familiar face. A campaign poster, the candidate, Mr. Braylon Harris. I thought, how appropriate. We couldn't have planned this better. For indeed, they must see what they aspire to be. I will say it again. Our young people must see what they aspire to be. As I entered the building, I can remember a time that children of color was not allowed this opportunity. This we cannot forget. This is a part of our history, a very significant part of our history. Our history has helped us to understand change in societal development, and it provides us with a context from which to understand ourselves and others. Therefore, it's very important that we teach our young people about history and the community in which they live. History provides identity, and studying history improves our decision-making and judgment. History shows us models of good and responsible citizenship, and it teaches us how to learn from the mistakes of others. The Mullers Building is a blast from the past, a valued history lesson. We continued our walk, and our next destination, the Charleston Hotel.
Several homes with in the Carpentier Historic District and the entire downtown were built with this lumber. A fire destroyed nearly everything in the early 1900s. About 30 blocks of the downtown area, including the courthouse, city hall, and the Catholic church, were all destroyed. It's known as the Great Fire of 1910. On April 23rd, 1910, the fire started behind a building on Ryan Street while someone was burning.
It's a three-story limestone fixed building designed in the neoclassical style. The bank's interior is very well preserved and is primarily a cozy focused building. There's a brand new statue over on this side. I think it's called the Woodman. It's a all the guys
Our dear Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception.
The Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception is a Catholic cathedral. It is the seat of the Diocese of Lake Charles. Immaculate Conception Parish was established in 1869 and it became a cathedral in 1980. The church building, rectory, and the garage are listed together on the National Register of Historic Places. The church was damaged by a hurricane in 1879 and the parish decided to build a new building. The parish was renamed Immaculate Conception at that time, and the new church building was completed in 1881. The church was destroyed by the Great Fire on April 23, 1910. The new church was designed by an architectural firm in New Orleans and was completed in 1913.
As our trek neared an end, the old city hall provided an opportunity for our young people to meet Lake Charles artist Eddie Mormon, a brother of color who chose to create listening to his own heartbeat. When the seat of justice was changed to Lake Charles in 1852, Sheriff Jacob Ryan, with the help of his slave, Uncle George, loaded the log cabin courthouse on an ox cart and transported the small building through the piney woods to Lake Charles. Great white steps of the old Lake Charles courthouse. There was a sense of enlightenment and elevation. Step by step, word by word, there was a demonstration of gratitude. Watching our students, watching Alex as he delivered a brief history of this iconic building gave me a cause to pause. This city, Lake Charles, belongs to all of us, and importantly to the children. They are tomorrow's citizens. They are the future.
So today we took the Impact girls and boys out on a tour of downtown Lake Charles to give them some historical facts about the city in which they live. Because many of our kids walk around every day and they don't have any idea of the rich history that exists there. So today that is what we did on our tour, was give them some facts about Lake Charles. This is important because the kids need to know some history about where they were born, where they currently live, and it's important to expose them And in this particular case, having dealt with Hurricane Laura and Hurricane Delta, they're getting an idea of the resilience of the community in which they come from, such as exposing them to the Great Fire of 1910 and explaining how the people of Lake Charles actually rebuilt the community after 30 blocks was burned down in that fire of 1910. So they're learning about history and they're learning about the resilience of the community in which they come from, and that's why it's very important.
Today, we decided to take a walk. And this was not a typical morning walk.